Hello Cape Town, hello world. Welcome to mabenz Daily Talk, where we talk about our hottest topics in our beautiful continent. I came upon this expiring company called Entrepreneurs House. Some of you might have heard of it, but for the benefit of the doubt, please let's have a look at this clip. With the help of our special guest, we will be discussing about starting a business and the role of entrepreneurship in Africa. So let's have a round of applause to the founder of Entrepreneurs House, Mr. Arian Okakani Langa. Thank you so much. How are you doing? Oh, thanks to see you, man. Thanks to see you. Come up. Can sit down? Okay. How are you doing?
I am well.
Oh, really? Thank you for making up for that. Eh? That's a good. I like your outfit, just like a businessman. And then that's so good. That's good to you. You know, I waited for this moment for quite long, so eventually you're here. So I really appreciate it.
Looking forward to getting to sitting down with you.
I was like, wait, this man to be on my show.
Let's do it. Let's do
Okay,
it.
that's a good. Oh yeah, Arian. Now tell me exactly in the entrepreneurship house and what do you do?
Thank you for the question. So what I do is that I work with young people starting their businesses. I focus exactly on startups only. And the name of my company is Entrepeleaders House. And Entrepeleaders stands for entrepreneurs that are leaders. So there's a lot of consulting out there, but there's few companies dealing with people starting businesses. So what I do, I work specifically with people starting businesses. And I've realized in my experience that the key to starting a good business is leadership skills, because working with people means getting on board the skills that you don't have. An entrepreneur doesn't have all the skills. But if you get the right people on board who have the skills that you don't have, you can move forward faster instead of having to do it all by yourself. So part of my business is actually equipping people with the right leadership skills so that they don't have to do it all by themselves. They find the right people in order to move forward.
So why write this book in the first place?
That's a very good question. Why did I write my book called Start Up the Leadership Way? First of all, having been an entrepreneur for over 7 years now, a lot of the people that I work with, they all have the same questions. Where do I get the funding to start a business? How do I get money? How do I even begin to start a business in the first place?
Yeah.
And the questions are all the same. And I end up giving them the same answers all the time. And one of the things that I hate doing is doing the same thing over and over.
Over and over, yeah. No.
So over time I just decided, well, why not just write a book that is going to be a guide so that when they come with these questions, I can tell them, look, you don't have to pay me to know how to get money. Read my book. You're going to have everything that you need in that book. And then if you have any question, let's discuss that. So the book was birthed out of all the questions that I get from every single startups that I happen to be working with. That's the first reason that why I wrote this book. The second reason is actually more interesting. I love economics.
Yeah.
And if you look at the stats right now in Africa, the rate of employment in most African countries is about 15%. South Africa is 26% of unemployment. That means there's about 11 million people right now in South Africa who don't have a job.
Exactly.
And that means for parents currently sending their kids to school, that means there's 26% of people going to school right now with a degree or without a degree, they won't have a job. What is the solution? Right now, our children are going to school thinking, I want to find a job. And I'm saying that's the problem. 11 million without a job, that's a lot. The solution isn't the government. The solution isn't more families or more concert. It's not that. The solution is people creating more jobs. So my solution has been, these people going to school, they need to switch their mindset from job seekers to job creators.
Exactly, yeah.
So this book is at the very center of our issue in Africa, which is unemployment. And this book, I am teaching people that you can start your own business. And at the end of the day, if you think about it, so I'm planning on selling 10,000 copies of my book, right?
10,000.
10,000 copies. I am
quite a lot.
thinking that out of 10,000 people having a copy of this book, only 10% will have a chance to start a business. 10% of 10,000 people means only 100. Actually, not even 10%. I mean, 1% of these people will start a business.
Oh, okay.
So 1% of 10,000 is 100. 100 people start a business.
Wow, that's quite a lot.
The rate, the success of starting up is just 10%. That means within 100 people starting a business, only 10% will succeed. That's 10 people within 100 that start a business. That means through this book, my dream and my conviction is that 10 people will start a business. 10 people starting a business successfully means within 2 or 3 years, they will hire 5 people each. 10 people hiring 5 people, that is 50 jobs being created. On top of the 10 people who started a business and created a job for themselves, that means 60 people. 60 people having created, 10 people having created 50 jobs for people, that means families being provided for through just one book. And I'm one person. And I want to encourage as many people as possible to use their gift, because through their gift they can create jobs for someone else and create employment and provide for families.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. So good. That sounds so interesting.
I'm passionate.
So tell me, why do people need to start companies?
You see, the way I put it is, there's many, education is one key. Going to school is one key. But it's one key that does not open all the doors. Not everybody is wired to become a doctor. Not everybody is wired to become an accountant. Some people are born to become footballers. Some people are born to start businesses.
Wow, interesting.
So the reason why people need to start businesses is because not everybody is cut out to succeed through the academic system. And there's a lot of people right now that are being put in one single mold, and that is the mold of, in order to succeed, you need to go to school. It's interesting because while I was doing my honors degree, I found out that Steve Jobs, and I was studying Steve Jobs at university, Steve Jobs dropped out first year. So here I am, much more educated than Steve Jobs, and yet I'm studying from someone who never actually finished, not even his first year of university. That is a challenge. And he's created companies, he created employment for more than for hundreds and thousands of people. Somebody without a degree who dropped out.
Yeah.
That means he wasn't wired for it. And so my saying people need to start businesses, I'm not saying everybody needs to start businesses, but I'm saying not everybody is cut out to become a doctor, an accountant, and that's why some people that are not cut out to become any of that, they need to go into entrepreneurship and find out. And life is not boring. I want to say to people listening to me, life is not boring. Life is fun. Try it. If you fail, it's fine. Try something else.
Wow.
But I want people to step outside of this routine of doing the same thing over. I am born, I go to grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. You have talent, you have gifts. Explore them and find out. Yes, that's why people need to start businesses.
Wow. That's so good. Interesting. Yeah. So, is everyone cut off to become an entrepreneur?
Is everyone cut out to become an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
That's a fantastic question, Derek.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur comes from a French word called entreprendre.
Oh yeah, I'm French, I know that word.
So you know that word?
I know entrepreneur, yeah, no.
Entreprendre actually means in English to undertake.
Yeah.
So if you ask me, can everybody become an entrepreneur? My question to you is, can everybody undertake anything? And the question is yes, every single person can undertake. Every single person. In fact, if you think about it, your whole life, from the moment you're born, you don't know what you're going to become. You take initiative all the time to get to where you are right now. You take initiative. So we are hardwired to actually take initiative and start things. Now, if you ask me whether everybody's cut out to become a Steve Jobs, I'm like, that's a different, Steve Jobs or Richard Branson who created Virgin Active, that's a different question. Okay, everybody can become an entrepreneur, but not to the same capacity.
Yeah.
Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
So when you look at things, you think the barbershop is an entrepreneur. Mothers keeping children safe at home, they are entrepreneurs.
Yeah, no.
It takes a lot to manage that. But not everybody has the same capacity.
I also remember I also remember back home, women, mother, they used to sell those stuff from the street. Absolutely. And they're strong and they're actually making it. You can see, and then they're selling tomatoes and they're selling onions, and they can actually, look after the entire family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're entrepreneurs. Now, when I talk about capacity, this is what I mean. When Steve Jobs, I love Steve Jobs because it was my distant mentor when I started my business. When Steve Jobs started Apple, he was asked, do you want to make better computers? He said, no, I want to change the world.
Yeah.
You know, a
Interesting.
lot of people start businesses but don't have the same vision.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs had the vision to change the world. He said, I want every single household on earth to have a personal computer. That's a vision. So the difference between, everybody can become an entrepreneur, but what makes the difference between becoming a Steve Jobs or becoming somebody selling onions on the side of the street is vision. They just have different vision. The person selling onions on the side thinks, I need to sell to survive. Steve Jobs is thinking, I need to change the world. Both of them have objectives, but they're not the same. So the first thing is, when I talk about capacity is vision. How much vision do you have? The second thing when it comes to capacity is agility. Some people love stability. They love being in an environment where you can have your 10,000, 15,000 every month, and they're happy with it. They cannot live in an environment where you do not know how much you're going to earn next month. If you don't have that capacity, then that's fine. You're going to be an entrepreneur that is within a stable environment. But to become a Steve Jobs, you need to be able to be okay with the fact that you don't know how much you're going to win next time.
Wow.
And the third thing after agility is leadership. The person selling onions,
Tomato, like I said.
tomatoes, or all of that, they
Yeah.
do it all by themselves.
Yeah.
When Steve Jobs started, do you know Steve Jobs never created the first Apple or the second Apple?
I don't know.
Steve Jobs had a vision. He said, I want computers, but I don't know how to make computers. Steve Jobs never made any computer. He found a friend who had the skills that he didn't have. His friend was Steve Wozniak. And he said to Steve Wozniak, who was a computer geek, without a vision, Steve Jobs said to Steve Wozniak, this is my vision. I want to build this computer, small, that everybody can carry in their homes and it's going to be affordable. Steve Wozniak had the skill, Steve Jobs had the vision. And then Steve Jobs knew that he didn't have the skills, so he pulled together the people that he needed to accomplish the vision. The problem with the person selling the tomatoes is that not only do they have a small vision, and it's not a bad thing to have a small vision, it just is the case that it's a small vision. They have a small vision, and they don't have the ability to bring people
in together,
in order
yeah.
to achieve something bigger.
Exactly.
So everybody can become an entrepreneur, but not everybody has the same capacity.
Capacity,
And in
definitely.
order to have a bigger
Definitely.
capacity, you need to challenge your vision.
Yeah.
And very often I'm going to tell you this, Derek, and I hope everybody listening can get this right? But in order to have a larger capacity, you need to enlarge your vision. You see, the person selling tomatoes on the side of the road thinks they're doing what they know they can do. So therefore, their faith is not being stretched. That's the problem. When you are only doing what you know you can do, you never stretch beyond yourself. Steve Jobs was broke. He had no money, but he was already thinking, I want to change the world. There's a bridge. There's what you can do. This is what you can do. This is where you want to be. And here there's nothing. And this area here becomes the gap, and it stretches your faith. And this is how you enlarge in your capacity. But a lot of people cannot see beyond what they can do. And therefore, they stay within the realm of what's possible, what they know they can do. She knows she can sell 10 tomatoes every day. And that's why she's not reaching out to more. But she can become more. She just has to have a bigger vision. The second thing in order to enlarge in your capacity is, I often ask my clients this question. So, how much of your life is about other people? People with small capacity usually are inward focused. Their whole life is about themselves. Their whole life is about, I need to eat tomorrow. I need to eat the next day. Maybe I need to provide for my child over there. But what about you provide for your whole community, for your whole area, for your whole city, for the whole of Africa? They don't think that, they think themselves. So in order to challenge your capacity, you need to think, how much of me can be open to others? We all have 24 hours, we don't have more time. It's all 24 hours. Some people do so much in 24 hours.
Exactly.
So much more. So you need to be less inward focused and more outward focused, and allow more people into your life. They will stretch your capacity. So if you can challenge your leadership, your vision, and your capacity in terms of people, you're going to grow.
Wow. Oh, that's quite interesting. So,
Yeah.
no, it's a question.
Yeah, it sounds very interesting. I just want to know, who are you targeting in your book? Who are the people you're targeting? Is it people with skill that are educated, or is it people just that, like you said, about the passion that people have, and that they may be not very educated, but they have got that thing that they can be a great leader and they can have a big business? So it's just very interesting that I would like to know the context in your book. Is it covering everything? Somebody that maybe just finished maybe grade 8, would that book help a student like that?
Very good question. Thank you. I actually appreciate that because I don't think we were going to cover that. First of all, to answer your question, does it cover everything? I would be extremely arrogant to say that it covers everything. There's so much to cover in terms of entrepreneurship, and I only know so little. I have 7 years experience. So no, it doesn't cover everything. There's a lot of things that I've missed out. But who am I targeting? Right now I'm going from school to school, so this is high schools. I'm going from school to schools and I'm talking about entrepreneurship, and people that are interested actually get to contact me and then we start working together. So I'm taking a lot of students through a mentorship program in terms of becoming entrepreneurs. This book has been written in a way that is very personal and very down to earth, because I'm actually targeting the high school and people that have never gone to university, people that don't have any experience in terms of starting a business. These are the people that I target. And right now the response is incredible. I am seeing, can I just share this with you quickly? So I went to Bountiful High recently, and I was sitting down with these students. And when I stood up and I said, they heard there's an entrepreneur coming, and they were very excited and confused. What is an entrepreneur? What does it even mean? We're struggling, and 2 people had just been shot the night before I came. And I sit in the midst of these students that are seeing people dying every single day to a point where they've gotten numb. They don't feel the pain of somebody dying anymore. They're just like another body on the side of the road. And I'm coming to talk about business, some fancy words. And so the question, at the end of my talk, I built it in such a way, at the end of it, they can open their mind and start thinking of becoming entrepreneurs. And they asked me a question, but look, how do I become an entrepreneur? That was the question at the end of the day. And I said to them, what do you have? And one of the students said, well, I don't have anything. And I said, well, let me just ask you a simple question. What is the problem in your communities right now? They're like, people don't have food. I said, well, that's fine. Is there a plot somewhere? They're like, yeah, there's a plot over there. I'm like, is there grass growing on that plot? They're like, yes. I'm saying, do you know if grass grows on that plot? That means most vegetables can grow. They're like, yes. I'm like, do you have to pay to use that plot? The student said, no, I don't have to pay. My mom knows the person who owns the plot. I'm like, okay, cool. Can you cultivate? And the student is like, no, I can't cultivate. Then another student in the class says, well, I can cultivate. I'm like, there you go. Remember I mentioned leadership. There you go. You know somebody you can team up with already. You don't have to have all the skills. And it's like, okay, we can work together. This is happening within 10 minutes. And they're like, okay, but we don't have the vegetables. And I said to them, well, do you know who has the vegetables? They're like, yes, his uncle knows people who. I'm like, can you go grab the vegetables from them and start using it? They're like, yes, but it's going to cost. I'm like, is there a way you can bargain to get it for free? They're like, maybe my mom can help me. I'm like, great. We're getting somewhere. And then the final question they had for me is, well, we don't have enough hands to work their land. And I said, how many people don't have jobs in the area? They said, so many people. I said, well, grab them, get them to work. And then once you start selling the veggies, I get money out of that. And they said, well, within 10 minutes, this student moved from complaining about all the issues, all the dead people, to realizing they can get the solution. And so who am I targeting? I'm targeting such people. I'm targeting students, and I'm targeting people that have never started businesses before. At first, people treated me as if I was insane. So being an entrepreneur is hard. Like, guys, I cannot emphasize this. It's really hard. You need to be ready to be rejected, to be considered a lunatic. I'm currently doing my MBA. My parents are asking me, why are you not getting a job? If you're an MBA, why don't you get a job? So nobody understands why I want to be an entrepreneur. So no, it's not easy. But here's one thing, and I talk about it in my book. Have you ever seen somebody who's passionate? You may hate them, but eventually you will start admiring these people. No matter how much you disagree with them, if somebody's passionate about what they're saying, you will start admiring them. So what I've realized that all I have to do, I don't have to convince them. I have to believe in what I'm doing. I need to bleed my vision. If you cut me, my vision needs to come out, not anything else. And then once I convicted myself of this vision that I have, and I knew this is what I meant to do, then easily everybody else around me, people started coming. And it's easy to sell something that you believe in, by the way. So if you believe it, it's easier to sell.
Okay. That's good. That's so good. So tell me, Aaron, how to start a business? how someone can start a business actually.
How do you start a business?
Yes.
Okay. So this is my way. Okay. This is not the universal way, but this is my way. This is what I found. First of all, I encourage businesses that start within communities. I believe each business is a solution to a problem. So if you want to start a business, start in your community. So my way for anybody listening right now and looking for ways to start a business, I say grab the newspaper. Okay, it's just a simple exercise. Grab the newspaper every single day for a month. The newspaper of your area, not just a general, in your area. And using your pen, highlight all the problems that you see in the newspaper. The newspapers today are full of problems. Somebody died, etc. It's always that. Highlight all the problems. Once you've highlighted all the problems, go through, try not to complain about them. A lot of us complain. But try to say, what can I do to fix it? Start writing down small solutions to each problem that you see. By the end of the month, you're going to have a pile of newspapers with piles of problems that you've highlighted and you've written small solutions next to it. Now, once you've done that, I want you to go through every single one of those solutions and see which solution did you write the most about. Usually the solution that you wrote the most about, the problem that you wrote the most about says that you are really passionate about that issue. And you already have a solution written. So first of all, if you do that, you realize if there's a problem, that means there's people that need a solution to that problem. So not only have you come up with a problem, with a solution to a problem, but you already have a market in your area because your newspaper is very targeted to your area. And if people are complaining to a point where it's written in a newspaper, that means people are hungry for a solution. It doesn't have to be new. It doesn't have to be different. It just has to be your own solution. So I'm saying the best way to start your own business is look in your areas, any problems that you can solve, no matter how small it is. And I'm going to share a simple example with you once again. One of my clients, you guys might have heard of it, his name is Sizwe. Do you guys know Sizwe Nzima?
Yeah, I heard about Sizwe Nzima, yeah, no.
So Sizwe started, his parents, living in a township, no money. But his granny will go to the hospital every single week to stand in a long line to get medicine. Very long line to get medicine every single day. I don't know how it works in the township, but apparently, I don't know if grandparents get medicine for free, but they would stand in lines. But it was very tiring for his grandparents to go stand in these lines. So one day he said to his grandparents, well, I've got a bicycle. Let me go. You don't have to go. Let me go grab the medicine for you, and then you don't have to move. But you pay me for that.
Yeah, nothing for hala.
The grandparents said, well, we're going to pay you 10 rand, so we don't have to go. He took his bicycle, went, stood in the line, took the medicine back. But he realized that there's tons of other grandparents standing in the line. So he went to these other grandparents and said to them, this is a problem, by the way, this is a problem in his community. He said to them, can you get home, give me your address, then I can go pick up your medicine for you. And they said, yes. So they stayed at home, and then he eventually had the whole line.
Wow.
No more queues. He was now directly going to the pharmacy, getting the medicine on his bicycle. And the companies from the States, and this is one thing that if you do something well and you're passionate about people, you'll get people's attention. Companies from the States, the government heard about what he was doing. Small boy, he was 20 years old in a township, 19, 20 years old. Heard about what he was doing. No more queues. He was now delivering the medicines at the door. And that's how he got funded. Raymond Ackerman, who created Pick and Pay, in fact, funded him and sent him to his business academy. And today he's an incredible entrepreneur. He's been featured on Forbes as one of the most successful entrepreneurs of less than 28 years old. What did he do? A problem in the community. Using a bicycle isn't expensive. Just a small problem in the community. Finding a solution. His solution was, I can pick up the medicine for you.
Wow. Okay, that's quite good. I really appreciate that. And then I'm also learning because I'm also a business entrepreneur.
I see that.
Also trying.
And I love your show.
I know. So I'm also learning. I should pay you for that, but I'm not gonna pay because I'm not sure. So I'm really good. So that's just. I want to ask you some other question here coming. There's something kind of fascinating that you wrote down. Yeah, you say, my book is titled "Start Up to Leadership Way." Mm-hmm. Age of entrepreneurs. Okay, so what is the entrepreneurs and what does leadership have to do with starting up a business?
What is entrepreneurs and what does leadership have to do? Yeah. So the name of my company is Entrepreneurs once again, and what And I'm hoping not to convince everybody, but at least one person in the audience to understand that leadership has to do with people. And my model of leadership is servant leadership. Everybody that is working with me, I am serving them before they serve me. My way of serving my vision is to serve my people, because if I can serve them right, if I can treat them right, you know what, they'll be happier. And they'll be able to do the job that they have to do for my vision more effectively. But it takes leadership, working with people. Asking me the question, what is entrepreneurs and what does leadership have to do
with, yeah.
I will tell you this. When I started my business, I didn't have a lot of money, for one. I didn't know, I started doing coding. So I was studying information systems at university, but the coding that we were doing were not good enough for what I wanted to do. So the first thing that I did is I found someone who had the skills. And I pitched a vision to him. I said, brother, I see you coding. You're amazing. I want us to code for all the other young entrepreneurs and build websites and databases for them. But I don't know how to do it. In fact, I hate coding.
Wow.
Do you think you can do that with me? And we chatted a bit, and eventually agreed. So I got somebody on board. And when it came to doing the designing of everything that we had to do, I spoke to another young designer and I said to him, you're very talented. I give you 2% of my company, which I just created, has no value. It's just on paper. I said to him, I give you 2% of my company, and then you come and do your work design with me. And he said, well, why would I do that? I asked him, what is your vision? And he said, my vision is to do the best design in the world. I want to be able to do it. I said, well, I have a platform for you to accomplish your vision. You want to do the best designs? I have clients that think great designs. Why don't you come and do it with me? And then you have 2% of the company. So I managed to build a team of people working not for me, working with me, but working with me. They were not enslaved to my vision. They had their own vision, and working with me helped them achieve their own visions. So in that way, not only did I never had to pay anything. I didn't pay anything. I started a company without paying anybody, but having people to work with me just because they believe in a vision and because I could see their passions and their vision, and I could line up their passion and their vision with what I was trying to do. And I said to them, the day you realize that I'm no longer serving your vision, you can leave. So I had the responsibility working with these guys, making sure that while I'm working with them, they are also achieving their own dreams while they're working with me. And if at any stage they felt like I was overplaying them, they had the right to leave.
Okay. So what is the one key element you think African entrepreneurs are missing these days that could change everything?
Two things. That's very easy.
Really, just two.
Just two things.
Elaborate.
The first one is governance. Governance has to do with the way we manage people and resources. That's the one thing that is missing. Can I be vulnerable with you for a second?
Tell me.
So, and I'm African myself, but I think it's important that we become honest with ourselves and recognize that we have a problem in terms of governance. And when we go to schools in Africa, there's no school that teaches people how to manage money. There's no school that teaches people leadership skills. All we teach is what Europeans have put in place back in the days. And it's not that it's bad, but is it relevant to what we're doing? Is it relevant to our case? A lot of people in Africa don't know how to manage their finances. And when I started my business bankrupted in 2016 because not only was I taking massive risk, but honestly, my finance management was terrible. It was terrible. So although I had a great vision and great ideas, because my governance, so I had two things, I liked two things. One was governance, so in terms of managing finances and the resources that I had, because African will are showing off. We need to earn the best things and the things that we cannot afford. That's what we do. But that is anchored in the fact that we don't have much regard for our resources. So I mismanaged the finances of my company, and at the time I was not a good leader at all. I used to be a boss. I would wear the suit, and I would walk in, and I would tell people what to do.
These African men.
I needed the suit, because the suit gives me authority. In fact, I didn't want to wear a suit today. You just suggested the suit.
I don't like suit. I don't like wearing suit. I can put on a jersey.
So we want to look important. And what we do is that we want to look important, and for us, becoming important is crushing other people's importance. We become greater by making other people feel less. And I made this mistake, and that's why I can stand here and be honest with you. governance is a problem. Leadership is a problem. Governance has to do with the way we manage resources. Leadership has to do with the way we manage people. In Africa, we have a problem where we don't pull the best out of people. Otherwise, we feel threatened. Because if you become really good at what you're doing, that means you're going to become better than me.
Wow. Interesting.
And one thing that I've realized is that I don't start my business for myself. I don't start my business for my children. I start my business for my children's children.
Yeah.
But I won't be alive, or I'll be very old and tired by the time of my children's children. So what do? I need to start nurturing people. I need to start nurturing people right now so that when I'm old, they cannot do what I did, they can do what I did better. So that my grandchildren, which is my children's children, can have something to stand on. A lot of African businesses die within years. Why? Because the boss stays the boss.
Exactly.
And nobody must do better than him.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when you go to Europe, you have a concept called generational wealth.
Yeah. They humble themselves.
They humble themselves.
Yeah.
In Africa, we don't have companies that have been around for more than a century like we do in Europe. And I'm not comparing. I'm not saying we're bad. I'm not saying we're bad, but I'm saying it's important to recognize where we fall short so that we can move forward. And I'm saying, why is it we don't have businesses that have been around for 50, 60 years? That is because the people starting businesses don't start businesses to last beyond themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So when you start a business right now, you need to start thinking, who can do a better job than me? And how can I nurture them so that when I'm no longer there, they can carry on? And they don't have to be a family member, because remember, it's a vision. It's not a family thing, it's a vision. Steve Jobs had a vision to change the world. He's dead today. Apple's computers are still going. The vision is carrying on. But it's not being managed by his children. It's being managed by the best person to do the job. And if you look at Africa, we have the most incredible resources when it comes to oil. Anything, we have oil, we got food, we got every single resources. But why is it not moving forward? Yes, there's other factors, but at the core of it, there's governance. The management of resources isn't right. And the leadership isn't right. And I'm saying the leadership that works, from my experience, I could be wrong, servant leadership. If you put in power to serve the people that you are leading, they will grow. And if they grow, they become better at what they're doing. If they become better at what they're doing, that vision that you have will happen faster and better. It's about the vision. It's not about It's about the vision. My way to starting up is always, what do you have? I never start with what I have, because you all start from different places. So what do you have? And I will ask you, so what is your vision? Or what is your plan? If the vision isn't clear, then we're going to try to refine it. Once you've done that, it doesn't matter. I don't care about how big your vision is. It can be as big as landing on the moon. It's possible. It's all possible. But once you've done that, the next stage is, what do you have? Very often I found out that people have seeds, and they go around complaining, I don't have the plot, I don't have the money, but I'm like, you have a seed. Seed is more than enough. You may not have a plot where you are, but if you have a seed and you walk long enough, you'll be able to find a plot where you can drop it. So we're going to have to do an inventory of what you have, because I do not believe in coincidence. I believe if you have a vision for yourself right now, there's a reason why that vision came to you and not to someone else. That means where you are, you already have what it takes to start the business. We're just going to go on a discovery of what do you have so that you can take the next step. And it's not about taking 1,000 steps at a time. Sometimes one step is what you need in order to get to the next step. So that's what we're going to do.